we went through this whole process last night. Used completely the wrong flour. It was pizza flour when it should have been strong flour, and then the ratio was all mixed up and everything. Finally, I got to the point where, after continuing to add little bits of flour until we got it close to the consistency we needed, it was late in the evening. We just put it in the fridge because supposedly, according to some of the videos, the yeast would continue to ferment. What it didn't warn me was that that process would involve it basically exploding through the pot, because it was only about 3/4 of this when we started. So now here we are this morning. A lot of things to do. Still don't know if this is going to work. So I definitely recommend, if you're going to do something like this, that you want to know what you're doing, because this is like a Leave It to Beaver episode at this point. Now it's extracting the what do you call it, Seymour? Because it's kind of reminding me of the plant from Little Shop of Horrors at this point. It's extracting Seymour from the bowl, sadly inside and out. The other thing is we don't bake regularly, so none of this is the right equipment. It's just, you know, makeshift. I'm just, you know, because every video I saw, the guy had a little teeny, you know, plastic blade thing for doing what I'm doing. I'm using a much bigger one, and I'm realizing now, because I can't get the thing inside the bowl, why they have a little teeny plastic blade thing. But from what little I know, and by little I know, I mean nothing. I know nothing. I do like the consistency of the dough. It's actually looking like some sort of dough, so we're going to get something that possibly is even edible. And I mean, when you get right down to it, you know, it's just flour, water, yeast, and salt. So how horribly wrong can we get? I mean, you know, take out the yeast and you got matzo balls. Scrape the bottoms off the barrel. This is what I call going after the deplorables. Oh no, it got political. This little bit out here, that's Alberta. See, because it's Canada, Alberta. I don't know if you're making the connection here. Canada, Alberta. Yeah, it got political. The other thing is, though, that's still basically the same stuff. It just decided to go outside and possibly rot. Are you listening, Alberta? Get back in Confederation. Stop being whiny bitches. At what point did the people stop watching the video, Jim? See, now I'm just going to manhandle the dough. Put this bowl of Confederation over here. I'm going to leave that there because I have a feeling I'm going to need it. And then a bit more powder down. Just to give you an idea, what I used for this instead of the proper flour was the farina for pizza from President's Choice. And so, even though I haven't done a lot of what the package said to do, I have actually ended up with more of a pizza dough. But this is a pizza dough for like 1,000 people. I mean, you know, I'm starting to wonder now if the miracle of the loaves and bread just had to do with Christ having yeast on hand. Anyway, I'm just going to beat the crap out of it a bit. Out with the bad air, in with the good. If you're an experienced baker, you're looking at this now and doing the same thing my mom used to do every time I tried to sew. You're cringing because he's like, oh my God, he's doing it so wrong. But that's the fun part, man. Don't take the fun out of it. Look, I just get to... That's great. Isn't this wonderful? Clearly, I can't have enough flour. This thing isn't big enough. Are you, Seymour? You son of a bitch. All right, now. Look. Got it round. And not enough flour in there because it's still sticking. All right. There we go. Now it's time to cut it into pieces. Well, first thing we're doing is the actual reason for buying all this is for an experiment, and that's going to be an even more fun thing, because at least I was trying to follow a recipe for this part. The actual experiment that we've bought this for is a completely new food. I wanted to say a casserole, but every time I put in the elements and the word casserole, I got something totally different. So That isn't even half. Look at that. I tried to do half and it isn't half. Carve off a bit more here. You know, the reason why I'm doing this cooking show is because after watching Jim Gaffigan's Let's Get Cooking, I realize I can't possibly be any less informative. This is going to be the bit we're doing later. So now I oil up a sheet. I'm using an unflavored oil so that I can avoid, I don't know, something Rachel Koo said. At this point right now, I can't see where adding flavor to this could possibly make it any worse or better. I mean, it's you know, as I say with things that have yeast, it's alive. Did you notice that? It was trying to get back to its other half. Yeah, we may have a horror movie in the works here. This could be how half of Carpenter's films started. Yeah, so there, off camera, I wrapped that half up in plastic, which I oiled slightly, and I'm putting it back in the bowl in case it escapes again so that it has some sort of containment. And then we'll just wait and see if this, you know, takes over the world. So, actually, yeah, even though I originally called it Seymour, now we're at the stage where I've just split it. And because of what I just said, I'm renaming these pieces. The piece I have here is now Pinky. And the piece I just put into the fridge, which might take over the world, is Brain. So, all right. So now I'm doing this. Now at every point with the bread recipes, it said make sure you're measuring stuff, and by measuring stuff we mean weigh stuff. Don't be just eyeballing it. I completely eyeballed it, so that's how much of a disaster this is going to be. So now get this shaped again. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't care. Alright, now that's the dough that I should have had in the first place, and I'm going to cut that in half. And the recipe said 250 gram portions. Well, again, don't have a scale. Done everything else by the eyeball, so yeah. This is definitely pizza dough, because it does not want to come apart. I mean, pizza dough doesn't want to come apart. You've got good pizza dough, but there you are. I'm going to try and do now that I've got it down to a reasonable size, I'm going to try to do the thing that they talked about, which is, for what I'm doing, the trifold. The trifold. So that we get it to the point where that's roughly, we're starting to prepare it now for the shape. The dough is very, very elastic. Let's do that again. Trifold. And then they say, get your wrist in there real good. And then lay that down like that. So here we go. Trifold. And again, I only watched the video twice, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Actually, don't want them that close. So now, all right, there. Turn up a bit more. All right. All right. Now we're supposed to leave that for 15 minutes. So what this means is I'm going to go have breakfast. Let's get baking.